I'm here today to introduce you to one of my good friends and colleagues who has a powerful influence around the world in touching people's hearts in a professional way. What an awesome, exciting opportunity we get to introduce you to her. And hang around for a minute, we're going to get started in just a second. I'm here today with my good friend, Eve Gomez, and I'm excited to introduce you to her. And Eve has built some tremendous businesses. She's a business leader, a motivational speaker in this area, and worldwide even. And she's done some phenomenal things, and I'm excited to have you with us, Eve.
Well, Dan, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing me on. First of all, I want to tell you, I'm not from this country. Soy de Mexico. I'm from Mexico, Guanajuato, and I was brought to Gary, Indiana as a very young girl, age 7, and had to learn everything all from scratch, from the bottom up, learn the culture, learn the language, learn how people worked in Gary, Indiana as a child up until college. And I just had to take a 360, shall I say, from working with a company. People say work for a company. I'll say I work with a company because I work for God. And so that completely changed my life into saying, well, now I have to work on my own so that I'm able to take care of my mom and dad and kids. At that time, I was a single parent. I married, divorced, single parent. So it was a transition for me to have to work for myself, but I understood why. And when you understand the why, the passion goes right with it. And so the why was mom and dad getting sicker. I'm their interpreter, I'm their advocate, I'm their caretaker, I am their healthcare representative, but I'm also a mom, a single mom. And it's like, okay, I'm not gonna worry about how do I juggle things. Most people focus on, well, how can that happen? While you're worried about how, let's just do it. You know,
the action part, right?
Yeah, let's just do it. Just like Nike, just do it. And so it came to be a natural thing for me. Instead of pondering, how am I gonna do this? Just do it. Instead of, well, maybe I should call a sibling, maybe I should call somebody to help. Just do it. And avoid having to explain yourself all over again to anyone else. And so I took that upon myself as just something that's going to build me up and help not just my family, but help everyone else as an interpreter. And as you may know, may not know, Dan, in our culture, as a child, you become the interpreter if the parents don't speak English, and you do. So that's what happened to me. I'm one of 8 kids, but I happen to be that one to say, I'll do it, I'm okay with it. So I'm glad that I became that person that I believe it was always meant to be. But now not just advocating for my mom and dad, but advocating for everyone else. So I will say that interpreting was the excuse to get to where I am now, to meet so many people of all walks of life and meeting other businesses in the need of having that language. And I have had people come in on the consulting side and say, hey, Eve, I need you to help me in the Latino market. How can I get into the Latino market? So the first thing I would ask is, are you speaking their language? Because as you may know, those that know the language and speak the language, they're more prone to go to them than to go to someone that doesn't speak their language. So then there's translation in pamphlets, brochures, their website. That is a consulting side to say you need to talk their language so they can come to you, and you have to have someone to represent them in your company as well.
Let's go back to that shift you talked about. When you said there was a shift, when your why became a lot bigger and you started pursuing it. You didn't really care how at that point. But what happened?
No, I didn't even care about the sacrifice.
What discipline did you do? What was the discipline? Something happened to cause that why to actually become that big? What would you say you applied instantly to make a difference?
Well, who I am, I'm not a person to sit still. So working behind a desk, it's never really me. It's never really been me. So I did mortgages for 12 years. That is sort of a self-employment, but I was still behind a desk. I was still making calls. I was still being ordered by someone else that owned that company. That was different. So when I said, I can't be on somebody else's time, I need to be on my mom and dad's time. When they're sick, who's going to want to keep me if I'm off today and tomorrow? Or, and guess what? Now I got to take my dad to the hospital. Now I got to take my mom to the hospital. Now I'm there all day at the hospital. What's more important? What's more important? Time to me was so valuable
And so you just said, I'm going to value my time more because, you know,
definitely.
the success mindset, we all have 24 hours in our day anyway, right?
People say, what
are we going to do with it?
Right. That's what people would tell me, well, wow, Eve, you do so much. And how do you do it? I said, there's 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
If I'm 8 hours with my mom and dad, I'll say, I'll be right back. I got to go pick up my son. I got to go pick up my daughter. I got to go back to them. This was me always. I mean, I still think I am always on the go. For Gomez, get it? always on the go. So that came a change in my life to say what is truly important, life or working for somebody that's not going to value your life or your parents for that matter.
Yeah, yeah.
And that teaches discipline as well.
Yeah.
There was a sacrifice in income. You see your family getting all these material things, but yet you don't.
Yeah.
But how I looked at it was, I get to spend a lot more time with my loved ones.
And burning that bridge was probably the most hardest thing you've ever done, but the most exciting thing you've ever done.
Yeah, and I just said, I guess
Closing
I was the
it
chosen
over.
one.
Yep.
Most definitely.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's a great feeling to know that you were the chosen one.
Yeah. Tell me about when you help develop a professional. When someone comes to you and says, Eve, I've got a question, I've got an issue right now. What's your favorite topic to discuss?
I'd like to know, what are their goals? How are they reaching their goals? I mean, I've had my own failures too, but those failures are still moving forward.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be successful. It doesn't happen when others want it. It happens, I truly believe it. I'm a true believer, crazy faith, that all on God's time. But he doesn't say, sit still and do nothing.
Yep.
You know, faith without works is dead.
Yep.
And so people have come to me, and again, because I'm Hispanic, because I'm an interpreter, because I translate, because I know that language, they come to me and getting into that market. That Latino market is bigger and bigger and bigger every day.
Yep.
Now, if people don't see it, they could be losing dollars.
Yeah.
And saying, you know what, why do you want to reach that market? I'm just putting an example as to why some people come to me. Why do you want to reach that market? Well, they're spending dollars. They could use my services. They could use my product. I see that they value life. And that market is growing. So I want my business to grow as well. I said, well, that's great. And as I said, the first thing I asked is, are you speaking their language? Whether it be Spanish, Polish, whatever language it may be. If not, you've got to get that. Got to speak that language. I'm in the educational realm as well, and I consider myself as an educator, even though I'm not a teacher. But as a parent, you're the first teacher. As a community leader, you're also teaching. You're teaching how to lead, how to sit at a table and not go outrage and go across the table and want to grab somebody's throat, because you get nowhere. Remember I said it's not the action that matters, it's the reaction that does. So you do that, you think they're going to invite you to another executive meeting?
Yep. No, not at all. I wouldn't come.
Likeness is they'll think twice about having that person back in into that organization or into that company for that matter.
Sounds like you're leading towards emotional intelligence in a big way. And so making sure we maintain our composure, maintain our posture as professionals. And so there's a fine line between that. They can really be messed up, right?
Dan, let me tell you, that takes patience.
What does it take?
Patience.
Patience. That's a tough word.
And I have the patience of Job. And patience is a virtue for those that may not know it. They need to know it. To have patience and to sit there, and it takes strength, first of all, to be able to stay quiet and not jump across the table and grab somebody by the neck. Even in the business world, it happens. It really is a dog-eat-dog world. It's the crabs in the bucket mentality, and I talk about it so much. That your business isn't going to grow if you keep having that mentality. It's here again in the mindset.
You damage relationships so quickly that way by, you've been in meetings like that where your neck starts to turn red because it's so hot and you're just holding yourself back. But
I just sit there peacefully and saying, they just don't know what they're saying.
And that faith goes back to it. This is out of my control. It's nothing I need. And then peace starts to happen, right? Because we've eliminated the fear part of it. And so
faith comes peace. With faith comes peace.
Tremendous peace.
And I'm an example of that. Again, it's not about me, it's what's in me. And some people have actually said, Eve, do you ever get mad? Do you get upset? Because you bring so much peace in just talking to me. And I said, you know what? I work on that every single day. And it gets easier. It's practice. In the business side, there's practice. If they see your character that is still good, and not stained.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to you
Yeah.
before they go to this crazy nut. It's
Yeah.
just going crazy,
Yeah.
not knowing what he's doing. He gets
Yeah.
upset so easily.
Is there somebody
he
over
gets
there?
frustrated. Exactly. He gets frustrated so easily, and
Yeah.
he's using profanity. He's like, well, I don't want to go to that person.
Yeah. Wasn't it Zig Ziglar that said if you help enough other people get what they want, eventually
get
that eventually is a big word. That could be a lot of time, a lot of effort, but it's a good word to have. Eventually it happens.
And it works.
Yeah.
And eventually it will come to you. But
Yeah.
here again, go back to faith.
Yeah.
How much faith do you have in knowing that it's going to come to
Yeah.
fruition?
Yeah.
And it will.
That's so true.
When you start building others, you're building yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm that giver. Some people say, are you better a giver than a receiver? Well, when I am a giver, I'm being that receiver.
So I'm going to ask one more question to Miss Eve. I've enjoyed talking to her today, and I'm going to ask her one more question about what is it that brand new entrepreneurs getting started in business, getting started in sales, getting started as a professional, what is some advice that she can share with us as an entrepreneur?
Well, that's a very good question. And what my advice would be to you, to my young ones, to my new leaders in starting a business, being an entrepreneur, I would say just keep going for it. You have a dream, dream big, and write your goals down every single day. I was one not to write goals, and it helps to do it. You know, journalize. As a business owner and entrepreneur, it gives a self-satisfaction to know that you are helping someone else. Even if someone tells you that's not going to work, that's on somebody else's faith. That's them not believing you. Believe in you, first of all, and believe that what God has put in your heart, what you believe in will work. It will work. Speak those things that are not as though they were. I know it may sound crazy, but let me just say this. When you think what you think, it becomes that. So as a man thinketh, so is he. So start speaking affirmations. Know that you're good at it. Speak it, do it. You fall, you get right back up. You may have the wrong team and it may not be you, but somebody's going to be that naysayer. Somebody's going to tell you no. Let that be what pushes you to keep going further, keep going further. Just like when you're doing a gym, you're working out, someone's going to tear you down. You look in the mirror, that tears you down. Let that be something to push you. Someone says you look this way and you don't like the way you look, do something about it. Be the change that you want to see in someone else. Keep working at it. Keep pressing on. You fall, you get right back up. And when you get up, you feel even more confident about yourself, because that's where it starts, in how you think and feel about you. So keep working at it and get people that are mind-side as far as businesses. Know someone that you don't know, ask. You have not because you ask not. Look around, see what type of services that you need, because you don't know everything. Get someone that knows social media. Get someone that knows publications. Get someone that can communicate better than you. Get someone that can write better than you to be part of your team, because that's something that I work on. I don't know everything, and neither do you. So once you start building your team and you get what you need to build your business, do it. If it works for 5 years, you got it made.